Welcome back to the F1 2019 career mode here, guys, and we are moving into the second half of the season, and we are here at Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix, one of my more favoured circuits on the calendar, and we're going to see how we can go this time around. Coming into this weekend, we do have a rear downforce upgrade now, a weight redistribution upgrade. Unfortunately, the reduction, which actually help us through the corners, has failed, so we're going to have to wait for that one to come onto the car, maybe next weekend or the one after. Looking at the weather, looking cloudy for the race day with chance of rain at the very end, so we'll need to keep an eye on that because sometimes the weather indicator lies to us and it says the end, but it actually means 10 laps to go, and then it's a bit of a pain. Looking at the old progress history, Mercedes have eked ahead ever so slightly for their home Grand Prix, as you would look to expect. Red Bull not bringing any upgrades this weekend. Ferrari bring a big one, and it's now more aligned with the top three, so we'll see how that carries into this weekend. We bring a small upgrade. Racing Point really on the rise. They've closed up to us quite handsomely, and then we've got a big gaggle of four of them. McLaren only slightly ahead of Renault, then Haas and Alfa all sort of converging on each other, and Williams bringing up the rear as you would come to expect. So the midfield is getting quite dicey, and small mistakes could cost us. Let's get into quality to see where we are.
Where we're waiting for the lights to turn green in the pit lane to signify the start of the session here at the Hockenheim ring for this weekend's German Grand Prix.
So our first flying lap didn't exactly do me too well. We're 16th at the moment, and I know we can definitely do better. So this is lap number 2. We went fastest in the first sector. Let's see where we are after the middle sector split, as we're now coming into the stadium section. We are half a second down on Pierre Gasly. We're 6/10 up on my best through the stadium, nice and neat and tidy through the hairpin. We don't want to throw it away here. We've lost a little bit on exit, but now we come through to the tricky double right-hander, and you want to use a lot of curb, cost a bit of time, and then running out wide on exit. Plant the power as soon as you can up towards the line. DRS open as soon as possible. That puts us P11, just outside the top 10, but still not bad, not too shabby. What can we try on our final run in the session? Here we go, charging across the line, and this will be a full lap of the Hockenheim ring through turn 1, kiss the apex, and then run it out wide back on the DRS as soon as possible. Didn't get it quite as good as we did last lap, where we did the fastest first sector of the session, and you can see it just hasn't really as been committed as it was before. About 2/10 down crossing the first sector split, but only half a tenth down on Pierre Gasly. Not, of course, aiming for P1 because that's unrealistic for this car, but if we can move into the top 10, that would be a superlative. On the brakes for the hairpin, really dropping the delta compared to previously, but a much cleaner exit than last time, and it's shooting back up now to almost equal to where we were on our previous lap. So two very imperfect runs. If I had managed to hook a whole lap together, who knows where we would have been. Taking that corner way too tight, compromising myself on the exit, and now we're going to have to be super committed in the stadium section to make up any time whatsoever. So here we go, more committed into the right-hander, carry the speed, and then can we be a bit tidy up through this hairpin? Nope, we've gone wide, we've cost ourselves time, and now we've just got the double right-hander to go, which is where we lost time previously. Just eke the car in, don't run as wide as before. It's neat and tidy, but exit is poor up towards the line. We don't even improve, and that just goes to show how many mistakes are in each lap, really. If I had managed to hook one up, I reckon I'd have been 7th or 8th. But nonetheless, we're outside the top 10, but I race better than I qualify. Let's see what we can do on Sunday.
There's nowhere at all I'd rather be today than here at Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. We have an incredibly competitive field this year, which means we should be in for a treat. And judging by the sea of people filling the grandstands, there's a fair-sized chunk of Germany that agrees with me. With average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour, the Hockenheim ring is a quick circuit with a lap distance of 2.8 miles, around 17 corners. The main DRS zone through Parabolica leads into the hairpin for the best overtaking opportunity on the track. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's start with Racing Point. They've had just one retirement in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
It's a good statistic for sure, as it demonstrates not only mechanical reliability, but consistency from both drivers as well. These are two of the first boxes you have to tick for any successful season.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. A fantastic effort from Pierre Gasly yesterday puts him on pole, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, and Vettel, Perez, Albon, Weber, and Daniel Ricciardo. Hülkenberg, Raikkonen, the captain, and Grosjean. Butler, they've taken a grid penalty. Norris, George Russell, and Kevin Magnussen. Stroll and Robert Kubica takes the last spot on the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, so here we are outside the top 10, which does mean we can start on the medium compound tyre and then potentially run the hard. So it does mean a one-stop strategy is available to us. It's just about what tyre we run when, essentially. You can see it here, I'm going to do a bit of conversion. I'm going to try and be faster at the end. Well, I am denied about it for a little while, but then I suppose the medium to the hard makes the most logical sense. You don't want to fall too far behind at the start of the race. The two-stop was available, but it was going to take about an extra 10 seconds, and I didn't really see the value in trying to make up that much time on track. So one stop here today, medium to hard tyre. Let's see what we can do as we have the lights. 5 are on at the German Grand Prix. Lights are out, not really held very long, and we are underway, and it's a rough start. Grosjean on those softs has disappeared. Devon Butler up behind me, also on the soft tyre. Just try and be easy through turn 1. Don't want to knock off your front wing on traction. We've got Grosjean back up into 13th, where we started, and then we're going to catapult down the inside as the AI looks to be moving very slowly. Daniel Ricciardo squeezing me off the road. Alex Albon, my teammate there, up in 9th. He's running the soft tyre, so he is on a completely alternate strategy to me as the two Renaults are trying to have a drag race down to the hairpin. I'm going to get some slipstream off the pair of them and take both of them charging down towards the hairpin, up into 10th place, and then braking nice and heavily. We've actually got Kimi Raikkonen in the Alpha, has done an absolute dive bomb of dreams into the hairpin, but can't quite get the traction. It's a drag race between me and the Alpha. Honda versus Ferrari power. Raikkonen moves to the outside, but thankfully we have the inside for the Mercedes-Benz grandstand corner. Run him out of road, and that is us up into P10. Immediately into the points. 3 places on the opening lap of a Grand Prix. You can't complain with that. And now it's all about trying to stick with the pack ahead on our slower tyre, because their tyre will deteriorate and wear out. So we come to the end of lap 4. It's a 1:17.5, and we're only a couple of seconds behind my teammate Alex Albon, who I'm willing to bet is on a two-stopper. So we're looking good at the moment to beat him to the flag. It's where we can finish ahead of the other guys as well, because Hülkenberg, Raikkonen and Ricciardo all sticking with me quite nicely. So a 1.7 as well, so we've taken a couple of tenths out of Albon in the first sector. That's where I'm strong. It's the middle sector where I tend to lose a little bit of time, but pushing forwards now, end of lap 6, and you can see we're just hanging on, and Albon's in the pits. So the guys ahead of me now, they've only made it 6 laps on their soft compound tyre. So that does pretty much confirm to me that that is a two-stop strategy. We move up into 6th position, as we've got guys like Pierre Gasly. There's another Ferrari and a Racing Point. That must be Perez. He is outperforming that car. He is my contender for 7th place in the Drivers' Championship, and I get the feeling that's going to run to the end of the season, realistically. But we're pushing on, 2.4 behind Gasly, and we're 1.5 ahead of Raikkonen at the end of lap 7. Gasly is in. Cars ahead are really pushing those soft tyres, trying to see if they can convert to a two-stop, to a one-stop. It's Weber ahead, actually. Leclerc was ahead, but it's Weber up there with Sergio Perez. So they run 2nd and 3rd. It's one of the Mercedes out front, I can only assume, because Hamilton's pit. That is one Valtteri Bottas. So we're split at the moment, or we are splitting the Alphas at present. And Weber got ahead of Perez. They both dive in at the end of lap 8. And we are actually going to take the lead of the German Grand Prix as we move on to lap 9. Pulling ahead of Valtteri Bottas.
Currently 10 places above objective. Hang on to this as long as you can.
Getting a pep talk from the boy Jeff. So we lead from Raikkonen and then Hülkenberg. These medium tyres should take us around about lap 15. So hopefully the guys that were ahead of us before the pit stop phases, the guys on the two-stoppers, really get stuck in traffic, and that allows us to maximise. Moving on to lap 13 now, we've got Hülkenberg into 2nd place. Leclerc has done the best job getting through the field. He's making a move on the mini-map against Hülkenberg. It's cost him, but he is one of the front guys that has done the best job. He's up into 3rd place. Realistically, Leclerc at the moment is, well, I suppose you could say net race lead, but he's got another pit stop to make, as of me and Hülkenberg. But of course, that Ferrari is quicker than this than this Toro Rosso. So he's moved up into second place now. Bottas up into third, who's on the soft tyre. Nice contra strategy by the top guys. Verstappen out of the Grand Prix. He looked pretty good in quali and, of course, in the early phases of the race. But now it's Leclerc versus Bottas. Bottas breezes past with DRS on the straight, if you will. He's up into second place on that soft tyre, but he's going to have to pit sooner than Charles Leclerc. And we are now moving to the end of lap 14, beginning of lap 15. Terrible exit from the double right-hander. Bottas is down the inside into turn 1. We're going to try and hold it around the outside. We have had to use a little bit extra than the track itself, but Bottas able to position his car into the inside of turn 2. Can we try it one more time? Sadly not. Bottas offline though. We're going to drag race the Mercedes down the straight. Here comes Charles Leclerc with the most powerful engine and DRS. And there goes the Ferrari up into the lead of the German Grand Prix. We pull into the slipstream. Bottas back down to third. I thought for a brief second about chucking it down the inside of the Ferrari, but we're not racing him here today, obviously. We are more sort of racing, more for 7th, I would say. These guys obviously on a 2-stop. We've got 1 stop left, each of us now. But Leclerc's just going to pull away, and I'm going to try and hold Bottas for as long as possible, just because it's a Mercedes, and we like holding the Mercedes behind. But turn the car up for the end of this lap. Try and push and gain as much time as possible, because we're going on to the hard compound tyre. It's going to be slower than the rest, and we need to try and build, or we need to hope that it's not too slow. So here we go. We're coming into the pit lane now. End of lap 15 for our one and only pit stop of the afternoon. We're going to have to get the car down to the speed. Let's see how we do. Cautious. I can appreciate cautious because the amount of times I've got it wrong coming up to the speed limit alone. Already down to 7th place. Then we've got Norris. Who else is coming past in? Norris, Stroll, Weber on another set of softs. He's got a pit again. Gasly on mediums. He's got a pit again. Perez doesn't. Albon does. So there's our target. Just down the road, Sergio Perez, currently in 11th place. My teammate Alex Albon does need to pit again. And we're very close to him, actually. We're incredibly close to Albon, considering the pit stop strategy. We're ahead of Devon Butler, who needs to pit again, as he started on the soft compound tyre. 3.5 behind my teammate. And he's got to make another pit stop. Well, that is mighty unfortunate. Albon has got ahead of Perez by the end of the lap. Kubica is out of the race. More cars in the pits. It's all going off near the midway point of the German Grand Prix. Here we go. We are charging out of the pits, and look at that. It's Valtteri Bottas. We're back ahead of him after an undercut on our hard tyre. Bottas, of course, on those worn soft tyres. I was surprised to get ahead of him. I didn't realise our pace on the fresh hards would be that good. I mean, we've closed half a second on Perez in one lap, but Bottas, of course, in a supremely fast car. See you later, Valtteri. He is just going to disappear into the distance. Hopefully, I can stick behind him and try and get a bit of tow. But I don't really think that's going to happen. But we are trying to close up. It appears that Perez and Albon are trading positions just up the road. Another car in the pits. It's an Alpha. That must be Raikkonen. It is. Raikkonen went to the end of lap 17 on those tyres. That's impressive. He's done 2 extra laps than me. We'll see how that factors in come the end of the race. Actually, he's a long way behind, so I don't think it is going to factor in any capacity. Ignore me completely. So, it's now a game of status quo. No more pit stops left to make. No real strategy. It's just managing our fuel and managing our ERS. On lap 20, Albon is in. We are on for a personal best lap of the Grand Prix. Bottas does a 15.5. We do a 16.9. Well, that roughly goes to show where our race pace is at. But we pass Vettel and Hamilton coming out of the pits. I think Vettel's on mediums, Hamilton's on hard. Perez is 4th. So, I believe I'm actually now racing the racing point of Sergio Perez. I would say for 4th place, but I'm going to say by the time those 2 cars come past, it's going to be for 6th place, because I fully expect Hamilton and Vettel to close up very quickly and get past rather rapidly. So, we don't have a lot of fuel or ERS to play with. The gap to Perez, 2.8. Hamilton behind a 10th, and he's, we're going to duck in and try and get some of that sweet, sweet slipstream. We're actually, someone else's pit. I don't know who, though. So we're actually battling Hamilton. We're tapping the back of Hamilton. Immediately check if there's damage. Thankfully, there wasn't. That was for 4th place. And now we've got Vettel all over the back of me at the end of lap 22. Trying to take 5th place away from me. And I know I'm not racing these guys. So I need to not let him through. But I need him to get past me without losing too much time. And that really really does not help Sebastian. You know, that didn't benefit anybody, that move. You could easily have just sat behind me, waited for your opportunity on the long back straight up towards the hairpin where you've got DRS. But no, he's also going to give it a go into turn 1. I just kept out of his way. In all honesty, I was terrified at the speed that Ferrari was closing. But down to 6th place. I think it was only academic at the point in which the Mercedes and the Ferrari came out the pits. So get our head down. Can we beat Perez to the flag? That's what we need to try and do. And I get the feeling that the car here, considering where the strengths of our cars lies, that Force India's got a little bit too much power on this track. So I don't think we can beat him on outright pace. It's either going to be a game of strategy or hope he gets unlucky, realistically. So lap 27, you see it. And Perez has been passed by Hamilton and Vettel. He's still about the same amount of time ahead of me. We're going to check as we cross the line. But I have one Pierre Gasly up behind me. And he is now battling me for 6th position. And Gasly is just not having the best season. He's currently flying the flag for Red Bull in this race as Max Verstappen has retired. It's 3 seconds to Perez.
Looks like rain is inbound, and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes.
Okay, so that rain that I talked about at the start of the video appears to be potentially incoming. And I'm going to make life difficult here for Gasly because he's not had a stellar season, in all honesty. And I just feel like making it a bit hard for him. So here he comes on the parabolic car. I'm going to turn the car up. Realistically, probably shouldn't, as I haven't got a lot of fuel or ERS to play with. But I'm not going to make it easy for him. I'm going to go wide, try and get a better exit. Gasly does cover me off very nicely, actually. I'll give him the credit there. Made it so I couldn't really get on the power. Apparently there was a collision. I think that was just fair racing. Can I try and make a move down the inside? I thought about it. Gasly covered the line, nearly compromised himself on exit, but really got it slowed down. So props to Pierre for actually able to get past me and then being able to make the move stick. I wanted to try and make it a bit harder than that, but you know, I'm going to be eyeing up a Red Bull seat in the future. So Vettel, fastest lap, 15.3. He has passed one Mercedes and he is on a rampage towards the other. Gasly has passed Sergio Perez, and we now come onto lap number 32. 3 laps remaining. If we include the one we're on, it's 2.6 to Sergio Perez. I don't really have a lot left in time, in tyres, in fuel, but I really started pushing and getting in the zone. I was chasing down Perez. Just look at the commitment we are throwing this car into the stadium section. This reminds me of, I don't know if it was last year's game or 2017, where I just got into that zone and was just pushing and just doing quali lap after quali lap. It was near perfect stuff. And on these really old tyres, with the fuel wearing out, the conditions not being great, personal best lap of the Grand Prix, gap down to 1.7. And on lap 33, the gap was down to 1.5. I was closing in on Perez, but you can see the rain is coming down. And the grip isn't quite there. And I was thinking, just can I get within DRS on the final lap? But just look at how the car is behaving. We're going to come across the line any minute now to see the gap. I've used so much fuel, and it's 1.2 seconds to Perez, and I don't know if I can get him. We'll try, but I'm running out of fuel, running out of ERS, I'm running out of tyres, and I'm running out of grip, as well as patience. I think I've been waiting for this moment all race, and I had DRS. I got a poor exit off of turn 2, and it just meant anything I could have potentially done into the hairpin was lost. I think this was going to be my one and only opportunity to get him. Very easy into the hairpin, just because it's yeah, the grip's gone. The rain is coming down. If this lasted for 5 more minutes, we would have fallen off the road. Charles Leclerc, with a superb drive, wins the German Grand Prix for Ferrari. And I'm into lean now on the fuel, because I'm in low fuel mode. I actually got distracted so badly that I ran out of fuel, as you can see. I actually ran out of fuel. And annoyingly, I think this is currently 7th, and I don't know if it's going to stay 7th. We're out the final corner. Come on, I've run out of fuel. Just please get to the finish line. Made it just 7th place with no fuel.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
So, like I said, Charles Leclerc wins the German Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel makes it a 1-2 with that late race charge. Then comes Bottas and Hamilton. Gasly flies the flag for Red Bull, but he fell to 27 seconds behind after starting on pole position. Doesn't look good for him. Sergio Perez beats me to the line for 6th place. I come 7th, Albon 8th, Hulkenberg 9th, Kimi Raikkonen 10th. That rain, I felt I could have got Perez. I felt I could have got him, but I ran out of fuel. So it is what it is, unfortunately. You look at the driver standings. Vettel leads the way by 21 points to Bottas. Hamilton jumps to P3. Verstappen drops to P4. Charles Leclerc, 136. So it's still looking all right up the top there. We are 8th now. We are at 12 points behind Sergio Perez. So that battle for 7th, he's starting to pull away from me. I'm going to need a couple of special results in the upcoming races to really try and eat into that advantage he's got of me. Because 12 points when you usually finish like 7th and 8th is a lot, essentially. Constructor side of things, no one really changes in positions. Mercedes and Ferrari joint on 319 points, then Red Bull behind. Racing Point are 4th with 84, and we have 54 points for Toro Rosso. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I really, really need Alex Albon to step up and start getting the kind of points finishes I've been getting all season. But nonetheless, hectic German Grand Prix, very lucky result, very chaotic finish. Let's catch up with Claire and see what she thought.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. Your former teammate had a rough time out there and wasn't able to finish. That's got to be frustrating for him.
I mean, of course it has. You know, when he was running so well at the start, it's always frustrating when you can't finish a race due to, you know, no fault of your own.
Judging from today's race, it must be pretty hard to fend off Devon when he wants to pass.
I don't remember him trying to pass me unless it was into turn 1, and it seemed fairly straightforward. You know, the guy's a bit of a prick, really.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Damn right I did. Strategy, driving masterclass. What more can I say?
You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you?
It's hard when it comes to rookies in Formula 1. Some do better than others, but I've just had a really good team behind me this year.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Might be everything from you, but it's not everything from me. We need to get that weight reduction upgrade on the car, and we're going to bring it in place for the Hungarian Grand Prix, which is the next one up. And we just don't have enough resources for an engine upgrade. I really want that major engine power upgrade, so we're going to have to wait for that one. That's going to have to come later in the season, but we could look at maybe more durability. I thought about it. I don't think I ended up applying one, just because when I think about it, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to. But yeah, so we have a minor weight reduction upgrade coming to the car for Hungary. Well, that should definitely be in place because it's already failed once, so that's absolutely fine. And we're going to try and get a more powerful engine. So guys, that has been the German Grand Prix. I hope you have enjoyed. Leave a like on this video if you did, and comment any feedback down below. Hungary is not a good one for me. The AI always just seem really, really fast, and it's not quite my favourite track. So we'll see how we go. But anyway, if you want to be kept up to date with the content that comes to the channel, remember to subscribe and enable them notifications. I know YouTube isn't the best at it, but it is what it is. It's the features we have available. And I will see you all next time.